I never thought I'd say this out loud, but there was a time when I genuinely believed love wasn't meant for me. Not because I didn't want it, I did. Desperately even. But life has a way of exhausting the heart, of teaching you one disappointment at a time that hoping is dangerous. I had loved deeply before, given my time, my trust, my dreams. And in return, I had been left with silence, unanswered messages, and that familiar ache that comes when someone you thought would stay simply doesn't. After the last heartbreak, I made a silent promise to myself. Never again. I'd build walls. I'd stop checking my phone every 5 minutes, stop imagining what it would feel like to be held again. I convinced myself that I was fine alone, that maybe love was just a phase people grew out of. So I poured myself into my career. I became the kind of woman who looked like she had everything under control. Meetings, coffee breaks, late nights in front of the laptop. My friends said I was glowing, but they didn't see me at night, scrolling through social media, watching people announce engagements, anniversaries, and Sunday brunches with someone who looked at them like they were the whole world. I told myself it didn't bother me, but deep down it did. Every now and then I'd get messages on dating apps. Hey beautiful. You up? Or the occasional. You seem interesting, what do you do for fun? Fun. I couldn't even remember what that word felt like anymore. So I deleted all the apps. I deleted every reminder that I had once been searching for something that no longer existed. My life became quiet, predictable, safe, until that afternoon. It was raining. I remember that clearly because I hate the rain. It makes me nostalgic, almost sentimental, and I didn't want that. I was sitting in a small cafe near my office, the kind of place that smelled like roasted coffee beans and old books. I had my laptop open, pretending to work, when I saw him. He was standing near the counter, his hair slightly wet, holding a cup of coffee in one hand and looking for a seat. There were plenty of empty tables, but for some reason he looked at mine. And I don't know what made me do it. Maybe boredom, maybe fate, but I smiled. He smiled back. He walked over, and in that calm, polite tone that people who don't expect much use, he said, "Would you mind if I sit here? Everywhere else seems taken." Everywhere else was not taken. But I nodded. Sure. He sat down, and for a moment, neither of us said anything. He took a sip of his coffee, then looked at me again. You work here? I laughed softly. No. Just hiding from the rain. Ah, he said, smiling. Then I guess we're both hiding from something. It wasn't flirting. Not really. It was easy. Effortless. And that in itself felt strange. We talked for a bit about coffee, the weather, the ridiculous playlist the cafe was playing. He had a way of making small talk feel comfortable, like it wasn't a performance. When he left, he didn't ask for my number. And I remember thinking, good. Let's not ruin a nice moment by expecting more. But that night I couldn't stop thinking about him. There was something about his presence, calm, grounded, like someone who wasn't in a hurry to impress or be impressed. A few days later I saw him again. Same cafe. Same corner table. This time he waved first. Guess we have similar taste in hiding spots, he joked. That became our thing. We never planned it, but somehow we kept running into each other, same place, same time. I pretend it was coincidence. But the truth is, I started going there hoping he'd show up. His name was Daniel. He was a graphic designer. Recently moved to the city after a messy breakup. He didn't talk much about her, and I didn't ask. We both seemed to understand that our stories were shaped by pain we weren't ready to unpack yet. Weeks passed. Coffee turned into long conversations. We shared playlists, favorite movies, little secrets that don't sound important until you realize you've told someone something no one else knows. I noticed how he listened, really listened, not just waiting for his turn to speak. I noticed the way he laughed at my sarcasm, the way his eyes softened when he saw I was tired. And slowly, without realizing it, I started to look forward to our talks. The way his presence filled the quiet spaces in my day. But there was a part of me that resisted. I didn't want to fall again. I didn't want to open doors I had locked for a reason. Then one evening, as we were walking out of the cafe, it started raining again. He looked at me, smiled, and said, "You really hate the rain, don't you?" "I do," I replied. "It ruins my hair and makes everything smell weird." He laughed. "Then we need to fix that." Before I could ask what he meant, he stepped out into the rain. No umbrella, just standing there letting it soak him. He stretched out his hand toward me. "Come on," he said. I stared at him like he was crazy, but something about that moment, the music playing from inside the cafe, the streetlights reflecting off the wet pavement, made it feel magical. So I stepped out too. The rain was cold, but his hand was warm. We stood there, laughing like children, soaked and breathless, not caring what anyone thought. And for the first time in years I felt free. Something shifted that night. He started texting me after that. Nothing dramatic, just small things. "How was your day? I found a song that reminded me of you. Don't forget to eat something real, not just coffee." I told myself it was nothing serious, that it was just two lonely people keeping each other company. But then he sent a message that made my heart stop. "I don't want to ruin whatever this is, but I need you to know. I haven't felt this calm with anyone in a long time." I stared at the screen for a long time. I didn't know what to say, because the truth was I felt it too. We started seeing each other outside the cafe. Walks in the park, movies at home, cooking dinner together while arguing about who chopped the onions better. He never rushed me, never pressured. He was patient in a way that made me question every relationship I'd had before. And every time I looked at him, I wondered how something so gentle could feel so real. Still, part of me waited for the other shoe to drop, for him to lose interest or disappear like the rest. Because that's what people did, they left. But he didn't. He stayed. He showed up. And every time he looked at me, it felt less like a fairy tale and more like something beautifully and perfectly real. One night, while we were sitting on my balcony watching the city lights, I told him, "You know, I had given up on this. On love." He smiled softly, his fingers tracing the rim of his coffee mug. "Then I guess I showed up late." I laughed. "Maybe right on time." He looked at me then, really looked, and said, "You don't have to rush anything. I just want to be here wherever you are." That night after he left, I sat there in silence, staring at the city and feeling something I hadn't felt in years: peace. Maybe love wasn't about fireworks or grand gestures. Maybe it was about showing up quietly, consistently, until one day you realize your walls aren't there anymore. And for the first time in a long time, I let myself hope. The days that followed felt different. It wasn't the dizzying kind of love I used to chase when I was younger. The one that burns too fast and leaves only ashes. This felt steady, grounded, like breathing fresh air after being underwater for too long. Daniel had this quiet energy about him, the kind that didn't demand attention, but held it naturally. He wasn't trying to impress me. He was simply present. And that to me was new. We started to blend our routines in small ways. He'd send me a good morning text before I left for work. I'd drop by his apartment on Sundays with groceries, pretending it was just easier to cook together. Sometimes we'd say nothing at all, just exist in the same space, reading, working, living. And yet, beneath that peace, there was still a part of me that didn't trust it. When you've spent years expecting disappointment, happiness feels like a trap. I catch myself wondering when things would fall apart, when he'd realize I wasn't as easy to love as he thought. One evening, he noticed. We were sitting on the couch, watching some movie neither of us was really paying attention to, when he said, "You're somewhere else tonight." I forced a smile. "Just tired." He paused the movie. "You do that a lot, you know? You disappear." I looked at him, defensive. "What's that supposed to mean?" He sighed, gentle but honest. "You close off. One moment you're right here with me, and the next it's like you're 1,000 miles away. I don't need to know everything, but let me in. Just a little." I wanted to. God, I wanted to. But words got stuck somewhere between my heart and my throat. So I said what felt safest. "It's nothing. Really." He nodded, but I could tell it hurt him. The silence that followed wasn't angry. It was heavy, filled with all the things we didn't say. That night, he left earlier than usual. And for the first time since we met, I felt the absence of his presence like a cold wind. I told myself it was fine. That space was good. That I needed it. But the truth was, I missed him the moment he walked out the door. Days passed and his messages became shorter, slower. My chest tightened every time my phone buzzed, and I hated that I cared so much. Then, one Friday evening, I saw a post on his social media. Him at a bar, laughing with friends, one of them a woman I didn't know. She was leaning close, smiling at him the way I used to. It shouldn't have bothered me. We weren't official. We hadn't put labels on anything. But I couldn't stop the flood of thoughts. There it is. The ending I was waiting for. So I did what I always do, I pulled away. I stopped replying right away. I kept my tone polite but distant. And when he noticed, I pretended not to. A week went by before he showed up at my door. I remember opening it and seeing him there. Hair messy, expression uncertain. "Hey," he said softly. "Can we talk?" I hesitated, then stepped aside. He looked around, nervous, then turned to me. Did I do something wrong? I wanted to say no, but the words that came out were sharper than I meant. "You don't owe me explanations, Daniel. We're just friends, right?" He looked at me for a long moment, like he was trying to read something behind my eyes. Then he said, "If that's what you want." But it wasn't. It wasn't what I wanted at all. The moment he left, the apartment felt painfully quiet. I sat on the couch, replaying every moment, the rain, the laughter, the warmth. And I realized something. I wasn't scared of losing him. I was scared of being happy, because happiness meant risk. It meant hope. It meant tearing down every wall I had built to protect myself. That night, I opened the drawer of my bedside table and found an old notebook. I started writing, not to him but to myself. Every word I couldn't say out loud. I wrote about how tired I was of pretending not to care. About how much I missed him. About how maybe, for the first time in years, I had met someone who saw me, really saw me, and I was the one running away. I didn't send him the message. I just kept it there. 3 days later, I went back to the cafe. The same one where we met. I sat at our usual table, half hoping, half accepting that he wouldn't come. But fate, it seems, has a way of showing up when you least expect it. I heard his voice before I saw him. Still hiding from the rain? I looked up, and there he was holding 2 coffees. One for him, one for me. I smiled, unable to stop it. Always. He sat down, and for a while, neither of us said a word. Just the sound of coffee cups and soft music in the background. Then he said quietly, "I wasn't with anyone that night. The woman in that picture? She's my sister." I felt my face heat up. "Oh, yeah." He smiled faintly. "You could have asked, you know." I laughed awkwardly, covering my face. I guess I panicked. He leaned back, studying me for a second. "You know what I think?" "What?" "I think you're used to people leaving before you get the chance to explain. So now you leave first." His words hit me like truth always does. Not loud but deep. I looked down, fidgeting with my cup. "You're not wrong." He reached across the table, his fingers brushing mine. "Then maybe it's time to try something different." Something inside me cracked open. Not painfully, just enough for the light to get in. We talked for hours that day. About fear, trust, love, and all the messy things in between. And for the first time, I let someone see me, not the version I presented to the world, but the real one. That night, as we walked outside, the rain began to fall again. He looked at me, smiling softly. "Still hate it?" I shook my head. "Not anymore." We stood there under the same sky where it all began. And I realized that love doesn't always arrive when we're ready. Sometimes it shows up when we're broken, tired, convinced it's too late. And it teaches us that it never was. Months passed. We didn't rush anything. We built something real, one day at a time. We had arguments, laughter, quiet mornings, and lazy Sundays. It wasn't perfect, but it was ours. And somewhere along the way, I stopped waiting for it to fall apart. Because love, I learned, isn't about finding someone who completes you. It's about finding someone who reminds you that you were already whole. Sometimes I still think about that version of me who sat in that cafe, tired and closed off, convinced she was done with love. If I could talk to her now, I'd tell her, "You were never unlovable. You were just guarding a heart that had been hurt too much." And love, real love, doesn't demand that you open the door all at once. Just knocks softly until you do. He came into my life when I had already given up on love. And maybe that's the secret. Love doesn't wait for you to be ready. It just finds you where you are and shows you what's been missing all along. He didn't fix me. He reminded me I was never broken. He didn't save me. He walked beside me until I remembered how to save myself. And now when I think of love, I don't think of pain or fear. I think of calm mornings, shared laughter, and the gentle sound of rain. If you've ever felt like love passed you by, maybe it's just waiting for the right moment to return. Thank you for listening to my story. If it touched your heart, Share yours in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this one.